Hello and welcome to AI automation. So, what have we been doing up to now if we're not automating? Well, up to now, we've been asking AI to help us with things and it's been giving us content back, but it's standing by waiting for us to ask it to help us. So, now what we're doing is talking about AI automation, where there's going to be a element where AI can now use certain tools on its own and it has certain autonomy where it goes out, perhaps when you ask it to fill in forms or ask it to um, do something at a certain time, like scheduling things. Uh, Also, we're able to create AI assistances where they are going to help us by department. So let's get started. AI automation. So it's not replacing people, it's amplifying capacity. We have to remember, I was going to call this creating AI experts, but you're the expert. That's why I changed it back to AI assistants. AI departmental assistants is what I decided to call it. So why is that? Because they are helping you with the capacity required in every department, every operation, every different function that you do in your own company. But you still are the expert. It has the abilities to go out and research, and it has a certain hat on at that point. So I'm going to help you create through this lecture a mindset where you then think, okay, maybe I want to create something called a GPT that we started creating last week in just for communications, maybe just for creating policy, maybe just for answering grants, maybe just for looking at financials, depending, or maybe it's not a just, but working with human resources or onboarding new clients. So there's so many different things you can do. So what you do is you take a step back and you think of what is it I do repetitively, that I'm kind of using the same steps, or I'd like to hire someone to do this, but I have all the information up here and in all sorts of different files, but I should be able to train someone else to do it. So what we're doing is training the AI on how to help you with that. So this task now that may have taken days will only take you a couple hours with your AI assistant. Or you can then hire that human who can use your AI assistant to have access now to all the right information. So some of the different ways that people might be leveraging the power of AI assistance in the form of a GPT, which I'll show you in a moment, is through membership newsletters. So you're creating a membership newsletter GPT where this assistant, there I still have the word expert, but this assistant knows what your voice is, how you'd like these newsletters to sound, the parts of the newsletter. So now when you're about to go and create your next newsletter, it knows the empathy you want. It knows that, it knows because you have told it what your value statements are, what the pain points are you're trying to solve for your clients, so that the way it's writing these newsletters is it has answers for their pain points in the subject versus um, and so it's going to frame it in a way that actually is much more captivating for your audience. And if you say, I always want these three sections, it knows what the three sections are. It knows what to ask you in order to fill in those sections, and it's much faster. So I'll show you how to do that. Maybe a grant strategist. Perhaps you're someone that would like to answer more grants, but you always time out, or answer more proposals and you always time out. So you can create a GPT to help you create those as well. So it's like creating a template of old and you're filling in the blanks, but now this thing is able to help you fill it in. You can even give it triggers to help to ask it to search for certain things at a certain time and then send you a report. So you could now have it perhaps go out and search for grants that are available on a monthly basis and give you a list of what those grants are. So part of the expertise that you're giving it, or part of the task that you're giving this assistant, is to go out and search for grants that are now available to you in where you live, or where your company is, and in the industry you're in. Or maybe for the newsletter, you'd like it to go out and research some specific topics that you're an expert in, that you think, yeah, I wouldn't mind having a part of my newsletter that's giving content of guidance in in my industry out as well. So you can have it now not just help you write the thing, but help you research the thing. You can also have it send you reminders that, hey, this is due next week. And this is what I have so far. And you have to approve it before you send it out. I always suggest you be the final view before you send something out to anybody, internally or externally, to make sure that the AI got it right. Board report writer. You may have a board that you report to, and you need to summarize information every month. You can get your AI GPT to help you do that. Policy drafting. Perhaps you have various policies that you do over and over again. You can have AI help you do that. Event sponsorship proposal writer. Perhaps you are someone who has many events, and you'd like help writing the proposal for what you need in a sponsorship, and it's cumbersome because you're not, and it'll help you, indicate the cause, and it'll find you the sponsors, so it becomes your sponsorship assistant. Automation workflow planner. If you're doing something in various departments repetitively, a couple times a day, a couple times a week, depending on how long that task takes, you can actually have AI help you do a workflow for that task and help you automate that task. So what I created for you, similar to what I did, was a library for prompts. I've created for you here a library of here it is, a library here for uh, AI assistant series. There's only 6 of them right now. I'm going to keep on growing it. And these are different GPTs and what you would write in the GPT to create your membership communications director. So this is an AI assistant that I called Membership Communications Director. So within that, we would put all the GPTs that you would need for that role, for that person to have an assistant. So your human in your company now has an AI assistant called Membership Communication Director. Or maybe you need a grant alignment strategist. You answer a lot of grants, and you now have an assistant for that. And I'll show you the GPT for that. Executive board executive board report officer. Perhaps you have now a GPT for that if that's something you do on a monthly basis and you'd like help. Governance policy architect, sponsorship revenue strategist, and business process planner. So those 6 I spoke of earlier, what I've done for you here is I've gone in and I've created the GPT instruction set for each one of these. So this kind of describes what the GPT instruction set is and why it's important for you. So for enhanced communications, AI-driven membership communications director, crafting engaging newsletters, targeted messaging, bolstering membership engagement, and organizational visibility. So in this one, I was thinking of a chamber or a organization that works with similar types of companies like small business enterprises. And it knows that we've fed it, we've trained it, and now it's able to help you create the newsletter for that. You can see what the other ones are here as well. And then if you go down into the actual document, I have 1 page for each GPT so far. And so this is, you are a membership communications director for a chamber, association, or client-based organization. Your role is to create structured, highly engagement newsletters that increase attendance, renewal trust, and visibility. Okay, so that's excellent, right? This is what you're trying to accomplish. I might add in there that you are also a authority on a certain topic. Perhaps you are someone that understands business policy and you want to put that as a section of the newsletter. So perhaps it's business training for small business enterprises. You'd like to put that as a part of the newsletter. So again, you want to think about what you want, and then you're saying, okay, so this is what you are. This is who you are. So your role, you're defining the role in the first paragraph, and there's a part in the GPT where you would cut and paste that. And then the behaviors. This is another part that you would cut and paste into the GPT. Always ask clarifying questions before drafting. So you're asking the GPT to ask you clarifying questions. Prioritize clarity, scannability, and engagement. So you're looking for something easy to read, and you're looking for something where you're going to ask for a call to action, sign up for this event, or click here to watch this video, so whatever it is you're doing. Avoid generic language, so you want to make sure they know it's coming from you and not AI. Align messaging to organizational stated goals. So that's obviously important. And then require intake questions. Before drafting, ask target audience. So, who is this for? What is this newsletter for? Primary objective, and that gives you some ideas. Tone and preference, key announcements, events to be promoted, if there are any in this case, deadlines, if you have certain call to actions that you want to have brought to their attention, sponsorship or partners, acknowledgement through the newsletter. Thank you to our sponsors, and a primary call out. And then how do you want the newsletter to be structured? So output structure, your output must be, in this case, three subject line options. So you want to have a choice of subject lines. So you're asking it to give you three subject line options. Preview text to look at the text. Structure newsletter sections with headings. Clear call to action blocks, which is very important in a newsletter. Suggested images. Repurpose for LinkedIn and social media snippets. Perfect, right? And then I would also, depending on this, you may want to have a section in your website where people can go and see the full newsletter. Professional, community focused, confident. So this is the tone. What kind of tone do you want? And so often what I would also do here is add a place where I'm saying, show, you could give them as content old newsletters that you really liked. Provide the GPT old newsletters as a source of voice and brand. So if you have old newsletters that you'd like, or past newsletters that you'd like, you can put that here. It doesn't even have to be yours. It could be other people's newsletters where you liked the way this newsletter came across. So this could be for you, this could be for others. So you get the idea. So you use this once, you see what happens. Does it make sense? You go back and you tweak these. This is just a giant prompt. You tweak the prompt if there's something missing. So the next time you use it, it becomes very quick for you. So you get the idea? So this is one huge way that people are creating AI assistants within ChatGPT. They're creating GPTs just for them to use, so that, or anyone in their organization that has access to GPT and ChatGPT. So very cool, right? So you can do this in ChatGPT, or you can do it in Gem. This one I just happen to be doing in ChatGPT. You can also ask it, if you have an upgraded um, account on ChatGPT, to remind you. So you could set a reminder that it reminds you to do this on a monthly basis if you want. You can also link this up to your different apps, and there's a ton of apps that ChatGPT and GPT has access to if you give it permission. So that's taking it to the next level. Okay, so I have here this one. I have the grant strategist one, and you can read that on your own if that's something that's of interest to you. Executive board reporting officer. This one is excellent as well if this is something that's of interest to you. And governance policy architect, sponsorship revenue strategist, and business process automation planner. So when you're looking at automation by department, repetitive tasks, and so forth. So this, I'm hoping, is going to be something that you will find useful. And I have this for you in the Blackboard now. When you see this, this will be in the Blackboard. And I'm excited to do this. And as I said, there will probably be more than just 6 of them when we finally finish the course. But at this point, I just have, at the time of recording of this, I have just 6 of them. So I hope you're finding that as exciting as I do for you. So current slide, let's go back. Okay, so now these are the different GPTs you might find of interest. So there's another AI agents that I want to show you. And it's, as I said, an AI agent at a high level is also, I'm calling AI assistants for clarity of this lecture. The industry are calling them AI agents, and it's basically your AI can use various tools. It can go out and do a search. It can go into maybe an Excel spreadsheet if you give it access. It can perhaps bring input in from a CRM tool. So there's different things it can do. It can reason, it can think, and give you opinions. It can give you alerts and autonomy where you may be telling it to do it on a weekly basis. So these are different reasons it's called an AI agent versus just going to ChatGPT and asking a question. So let me share with you this video. I'll only give you the first couple of minutes. It's a 9-minute video that I think you'll want to look at on your own.
Introducing Gemini in Gmail, AI that thoughtfully summarizes conversations and helps craft professional responses so you can stay ahead of that never-ending inbox.
So up until recently, AI was completely reactive. It sat there like a blank search bar and did absolutely nothing until you typed out a prompt. But that entire dynamic is already changing. AI doesn't just wait for you anymore. It can actually anticipate what you need and take action without you even asking. This is the era of proactive AI agents. And if you don't understand what that means, you are going to fall behind very quickly. So in this video, I'm going to break down exactly what proactive AI agents are and how the average person can start using them easily even today. Okay, so you're already familiar with AI chatbots like ChatGPT and Gemini. You open up a chat window, you type in a question or request, and it gives you an answer. That's a chatbot. You know that already. In the past, these couldn't actually do anything. They would just give you answers. They couldn't book a flight. They couldn't check your email. They couldn't update spreadsheets. They just talked. But of course, now they can do so much more. For instance, I'm here on Gemini. I'm going to ask it to look at my recent emails and draft a reply to the last 3. Now it's actually going out and it is connecting with my Gmail. It's able to see all my recent emails and it's drafting replies for all of them. And because these AI tools can now connect with your favorite apps and actually do stuff for you, they're starting to cross the line from a chatbot into something new, an AI agent. So what exactly makes something an agent instead of just a chatbot? Well, an agent is like handing a task to an assistant and saying, get this done. You don't want to give it a lot of instructions. You don't want to tell it how to do it. You just want it to do it. And in order for the assistant to be able to do that, it needs 3 different things. The first is tool use. The AI needs to be able to use tools to get your task done. Maybe that means browsing the internet. Maybe it means interacting with apps or executing code or filling out forms. Regardless of what tools it just needs to be able to access some sort of tools. The second thing it needs is multi-step reasoning. The AI should be able to take your big goal and break it down into smaller steps. It then needs to understand the right sequence of those steps and then actually execute that plan. And if it runs into any issues along the way, it should be able to course correct to get the results that you're looking for. And the third thing the AI needs in order to be able to assist you is autonomy. With a chatbot, you have to sit at your computer and tell it exactly what to do every single time. With an agent, you just give it a goal and it figures out how to get there on its own. And once an AI has all of those things, it becomes an agent. And this is already happening right now. For instance, ChatGPT already has a ton of third-party apps that it's able to connect to unlock some of these possibilities. So now if I tell ChatGPT that I'm looking to make a reservation at a nice restaurant near me for Friday night, it's able to connect to OpenTable, a tool. And it's using multi-step reasoning here. It's first determining where I live, what kind of restaurants I might like, then it's going out and searching those restaurants and filtering it down by some that actually have reservations available.
Okay, so you can see how uh, to now take your ChatGPT and go to the next level. And so all we're going to suggest you do is take one simple task that you might do on an ongoing basis and test it and create an AI agent or create a chat GPT or just even a prompt and ask it to do some of these things that require it to go out and check it out, uh, another app and interact with it or remind you to do something on a certain day or create a report and send it to you. But as I said, I've got those chat GPTs for you. You may want to try following one of those first and then spread your wings later. So it's not that. So a GPT, basically I'm calling them AI team by department. That's what I have in the book for you at this point. It's your digital executive team. Each one has a defined role, certain structures, and um, I think if you start thinking that way, it's very strategic. It's not task oriented. It's taking a step back and thinking, okay, how can I help this department first, or this type of thing that I do in my office or that I do daily, and create a GPT to help me. Okay, next, how do I create a next GPT once we figure out how to do that one? Because you're going to do the second one so much better. So these are just examples. I already have these in the book for you in that book for you that I went through. This is a PowerPoint representation of the same thing. You're defining the role, the behaviors, the inputs that it's going to take, the output structure. So we already went through this in the book. Another one that I have in the book for you, which is identical, this is the grant alignment strategist. And I have, telling it that it is a grant strategist, and their role is to create persuasive fund funder aligned grant proposals that clearly demonstrate measurable impact and strategy alignment so that yes, we deserve that grant because of all these great things. So um, always request funder criteria before drafting, so you're reminding it to have you upload the grant criteria or have it find the grant criteria for you. Mirror funders' language where appropriate. Emphasize measurable outcomes. Avoid ambiguous language or vague language. And then requirement, funding organization, stated funding priorities, project description, target benefits, geographic scope, budget, timeline, past measurable results, partner involvement, and then you're telling it what the output must include, and these are basically the sections of the table of contents for your grant. But of course, it's going to bring in the funding criteria to make sure that we're not missing anything here. Executive summary, problem stated, alignment with the priorities for the funder, program description, measurable outcomes, your SMART measurables, budget justification, risk mitigation, evolution plan, grant criteria, compliance checklist, and hopefully this will help get your grants. So, like I said, I have 6 of these already in that book for you. So now, turn kind of becoming uh, touching on something that he talked about in the video is getting help with just something like your email. So you can do that with your Gmail, and if you have Gemini built into Gmail, your whole Gmail world. In this case, this example that I'm showing you here is Copilot in Outlook, so your Microsoft world. So this is so important. I cannot live without this anymore. I have my Gmail world is where I live, and in my Gmail, I have my Gemini always on, and it reminds me of actions that I've missed. It reminds me of what's happening in my in basket if haven't replied to somebody. It's very powerful for me. So this is a little video showing you how it actually works. So I like to start my day exactly like it's saying, morning brief, what have I missed in my email since I've been here last? And it tells me, have I not replied to someone that's looking for a reply? And it lists them for me. Then I ask it to help me reply to a few of them, and it drafts it for me. And then, of course, I won't send it until it actually has created, till I check it. So I'll just show you this quickly.
Right now. You know that feeling when you open your inbox in the morning and it's just chaos? Meeting invites, follow-ups, quick questions, and before you even start working, half your day's already gone. Well, imagine if you had an executive assistant sitting beside you, not a human one, but an AI one that reviewed your schedule, prioritized what mattered, and even drafted responses to help you get ahead before your first cup of coffee. Now I know what you're thinking. But no, we're not talking about that AI. We don't have to write a better resume today. This is actually something that you can do with Microsoft Copilot if you know how to use scheduled prompts. Most people open Outlook and React. They let their day happen to them.
Okay, so the top three automations that we're seeing that businesses are rolling out right now are, number one, helping them make sense of all the meetings they go to that are online. They're using one of several tools to help them summarize the meetings, list the action items, and even then following up with people that are at the meeting to make sure that they meet their deadlines. So that's pretty cool, right? Second one is AI lead capture, where AI is getting leads from people that are looking at their websites, and that AI is asking them questions to qualify, or they're people that are on their social media, and then that turns into leads and follow-ups on places that you wouldn't normally have time to follow up. So that's pretty cool. And the third being AI marketing automation, which we talked about last week, where you're asking AI to create a blog or an article like we did earlier just now on the newsletters, and then from that create some your social media posts and your calendar based on what your value proposition is and where your market segmentation is. So those are the top three. There are several others, but those are the top three. So the first one, smart meeting documentation. You want to use that in leadership meetings, any meeting actually, sale meetings. If you're talking to a client for a first time, they're a prospect, or if you're working on a grant together with a whole bunch of people, or if you are just internal updates, it'll summarize everything, give you the action items. It'll give you a transcript, first of all, of everything that was said. It'll give you a summary as to what the key points are. It'll give you clear dates and action items and a recap. And now you can take that a step further and turn it more into a project plan where you are enabling execution, where it's now following up after the meeting. Okay, so that first part that I shared with you, it happens during the meeting and it gives you a recap. I love that. You should all be using that if you're using Zoom, or if you're using Meets, or if you're using Teams. You need to be using that, because each one of those has AI built in. Now you can take it to the next level. If you have ongoing initiatives or a project plan that you're working on with several people across disciplines within your organizations, or outside of organizations, or if you're implementing something complex for a client. So it's now going to not only give you the list, but you can ask it to send out reminders to people. You can ask it to, if you're in Google, you might now add to the process Google Tasks. If you're in uh, Microsoft, you could add to the process SharePoint. So there's so many different things that you can do with this, where you are going to save your documents in a safe place where AI within your world is going to have access to it. It's going to then be able to even book new meetings that are coming up. So if you're in Google, you could ask it to have access to your calendar. If you're in Microsoft, you can have it access to your Outlook calendar there. So it really depends on where you are. And you're now taking it to the next step. It's more of execution. It becomes more like a project manager. Okay. And you can have it look at your what has just transpired or where you're at in a project, and it can give you risks analysis as to what's happening. Will you be on track? Will everyone be able to make their dates? Pretty cool, right? So, just high level, if you're a Zoom person like I am, you want to make sure that you're using Zoom to its fullest. It will, if you enable AI Companion, it will automatically summarize the meetings, create the next steps, give you a follow-up draft email if you'd like, generate the chat recap. I absolutely love it. It'll tell you the action items as to when everyone agreed to. You can actually now also go to the next part of that where you're activating Zoom workflow automation, where it's now going to, you can trigger workflows where it's going to send reminders to people, send summaries to through email. You could push if it's if you have an API to your CRM, you can push and pull from your CRM, and it can give you recaps of what's going on. Okay, so what I have for you is a number of slides here that I'm not going to go into in detail of each one, but they're here because everyone uses a different kind of set. If you are a Microsoft team person, Microsoft Teams, Copilot 365 enabled, a Microsoft Planner enabled, then this is the kind of the sequence of steps you would use for meeting management with AI. Okay, so you want to look at this, and I'm hoping that these steps make sense to you. And they continue into phase up to phase 5. If you are a Google place, then I have steps for you for Google as well. And you can add on Google, you can add Google Tasks, automate notifications, weekly risk summaries, just like you can on Microsoft if you want to take it to the execution level and turn it into a project plan versus just a meeting summary. You can turn it where it's now going to have the ability to send out tasks. So those are the two different levels. So there's the level 1, which is summary and captures decision. Level 2, where it can assign tasks to people that were at the meeting. Level 3, it tracks the progress of the tasks. And level 4, you can have AI flag risks. So that's really the 4 levels of automation in what we're talking about right now. Okay. And then what I have for you here is kind of level 1, where you're recording the tasks. If you're a Google world, you're recording it with Google Meets and Gemini. If you are a Microsoft world, you're recording it with Google Teams and Microsoft 365 Copilot, so you need to be upgraded to use that. So the impact, of course, is no more lost notes, but the real thing for me is clear recap, and it's very clear as to the next steps and the action, very clear communications. So most people start with this one, and I agree, it's fabulous. And so level 2 is knowing what happens and when it needs to be done. So AI extracts the action items, identifies the owners, and deadlines are captured. So new discipline added in the format of a table, clear accountability language. So again, this is fabulous for follow-ups, but you're still doing the follow-up. The third level is where you're getting AI to automatically task. You're allowing AI to do certain things. And to do that, it needs to now, you'll need to also extend its reach to, if you're in the Google world, Google Tasks or Google Workspace. If you're in the Microsoft world, your Microsoft Planner, again, using Microsoft 365 Copilot. So this would be that your team members within Microsoft, if we're in Microsoft, are receiving notifications and reminders about the task they agreed to do at that meeting. So that's where now it becomes your project manager. So it triggers based on what people were saying they were going to do. So this is really important. I suggest you start with the first couple where you have it summarized, but you can trigger this or enable this to have it follow up. Okay, and then risk assessment is the fourth level, is what they always talk about when you look at something like the maturity level of managing meetings and projects, where AI now is overlooking at it and looking at what the risk assessment is for meeting the deadlines as identified in the project meeting that you had 3 weeks ago. Now it's 3 weeks later, and are those tasks completed or not? Okay, so that's kind of the automation for that kind of stuff, and these are the elements that are required for certain automation. If you need to use Microsoft, if you're using Microsoft, you're going to be using Copilot for your automation. And then if you need to do more than what Copilot allows you to do, you're going to add something called Power Automate to it. And that's within the Microsoft world, where you need a special um, uh, license for that as well. Zoom, it's all within Zoom, but you have to pay for it. Your AI companion, it's within Zoom. If you're using Google, it's your Gemini is built into your Google and into your Google Meets now. So, and you're using your Gmail. And then again, if you're using elements that are outside of these, you need to cross back and forth between them, because half your department's on Google, the other half is on Microsoft, but everyone's using Zoom. Then you might need Zapier to connect them in between. So that is a something that's becoming less and less needed, though, because a lot of these are starting to talk to each other. So if you ask AI often right now, how do I do something? It'll say, bring in Zapier. Then remember to ask it, well, do I really need Zapier, or will this, will Google now talk directly to Microsoft? And it often will say, oh, yeah, I guess you don't need Zapier. So you have to remind it. So you need to make sure you know that question. So these are a whole bunch of different um, um, approaches that I've just have, I think, about 10 slides for you here that I'm not going to review right now, but they're here if you happen to be a Google world. You want to look at this for your AI-enabled project execution, just the steps to that and what you need. You need Google Meets, Google Workspace, Gemini, and Google Tasks in order to have not only the summary of the meeting in your Google Meet, but now also for that step of having the tasks follow up with people. So these are the few slides around that. Okay, and then if you are that finishes that. Then if you are a Microsoft World human and you're looking for, again, project management help through Microsoft World, you can just use Microsoft Teams to summarize the meeting. No problem, and give you the recap. But if you want to get to that next point, you need where it's going to reach out and remind people and become your project manager, you need to enable Microsoft Planner and Power Automate in order to get the full loop to help you. And these are the steps in the next few slides if you happen to be a Microsoft World person. Okay, so moving on a little bit, you can actually, it's kind of cool, within ChatGPT itself, if you want, you can now ask it, if you are a pro, you have to be a pro, you have to be, I think it's $20 a month. You can ask ChatGPT to schedule tasks for you as well, to look at a report and to send you a report on a weekly basis. So that's built in now, which is kind of new. It's fairly new, but it's something that might be very useful. There are also all sorts of apps that you can hook up to ChatGPT. So you can hook up to your Google Workspace. You can hook up to Power Automate, which is getting you into Microsoft. You can hook up to Zapier. So you can hook up to your calendars. So throughout just ChatGPT itself, you could use that as a task aspect for your um, workflows as you move forward in AI. We're not going to get into that right now because I'm worried about the safety of it, and I really need to check into that before I go and create a module on how you do that until I believe it's safe. Right now, I'd rather you work within your Google World or within your Microsoft world. But just know that this is available, and I hear people talking about it all the time. And then when I ask AI, so how safe it is? Oh, good question. We're not sure. So be very careful. But if you were looking at a schedule through ChatGPT, where you would go through is when you're creating your little um, task here, the prompt here, you click on plus, and what will come up is you'll see this thing right here is a schedule. So you can now schedule, um, ask it to remind it to ask it, sorry, to, right now I use it to run a report on certain competitors for a client of mine on what they're doing on their social media and give me a matrix every Monday so I know what I should be doing on my client's social media. So it goes and it looks at my 5 competitors and it gives me a report on a weekly basis. For my husband, who's a snowblowing company, I want at 6 p.m. and at 6 a.m. a report on if he should be going to snowblow that day, and it's looking at 3 different cities and the accumulation it's had overnight, and it's predicted to have overnight on the 6 p.m. one, and what the temperature is, because we need to make sure it's not going to melt right away. So it does all of those things. It thinks about it. It's got autonomy, and then it creates a report, and it gives us the risk assessment. It says yes or no. I asked it for a go or no go decision every morning, and it gives you a go or no go decision. So that's really powerful. And that all just happens in ChatGPT. It's looking at public information. So I'm okay with that because it's the wild, wild web that it looks at. I told it which weather stations I need it to look at. I tell it which locations it's looking at, and then it's sending me an email. So it's just sending me an email. It's not accessing my emails. It's just sending me an email. So I'm very comfortable with how I have that set up right now. You can, if you wanted to actually go into your email, you can click on this and enable it to read your emails. I'm not sure I'd want ChatGPT doing that. I would rather have just my Gemini look at my emails like I currently have. That's the tools that are embedded together and it's safer that way. But you'll see if you go into here, if you click on that plus and down here, and if you click on this, which is your plus, and what comes up are these elements. So one of them was the schedule. You had to click on this, the plus over here, not the plus here, the plus over here. Schedule comes up. You click on this. You can look at apps. There's all sorts of different apps you can connect to. And again, I would be careful on that as to what you're giving ChatGPT access to. I did give it access to my Google Drive at one point. I thought, I don't like that at all. I would have to have, I think, a totally separate email account and Google Drive system that I would let it see. So I would really want to divide my file systems if I'm going to start letting a outside AI have access to my files. That's going to be my recommendation when we talk about governance. And it also has all sorts of apps that it's added that you can give it access to as well. And they're endless. They keep on adding and adding and adding to them. And this is where if you want it to book a trip for you, or if you want it to do many other things, book a reservation for you. So you can see that it has access to many different things. You can look at your calendar if you give it access to that. They can book the reservation for you. So it's now getting a lot more sophisticated where it can become just ChatGPT. It can become your AI assistant. So setting up your GPT to schedule tasks, you have to be Plus, Pro, or on Teams in order for that to work. And you have to it's got to be GPT-4 at least to schedule the tasks. And then you use natural language to say, remind me to submit my report every Friday at 3. So it's just going to remind you to submit a report, or send me a daily summary of all AI news at whatever time. So that's pretty cool. So you can have it remind you. Confirm manage tasks. ChatGPT can confirm scheduled tasks. Confirm the scheduled tasks in your chat. You can view, edit, and pause or delete tasks. under your profile, enable notifications. So again, I haven't used these. I'd want to check them out myself before I recommend them. I have used this, and I love the reports it's sending me, and I love it's right on time all the time. I think that's all I wanted to show you right now. Oh no, there's one more, Tidio. So Tidio is I love this tool. And again, the second thing that's most important that people are using automation for right now happens to be lead capturing. So how do they do that? They do that with Chatbot on their website or on their social media. There's three that are the most common, I guess, right now, or trusted: Tidio, ManyChat, and Calendly, and many of your websites have it built in. So it depends if you have one already built into your website. But Tidio is the one that I use, and it's very simple to use. And so you can't answer questions all the time. So you can use it as somebody coming to your website asking a question because maybe they can't find it on your site, and just direct them. You can use it and just feed it. It's like training it. You're going to feed that chatbot to know anything you give it in the background. So you might be giving it your your product sheets. You might give it your service sheets. You might give it your pricing. You might give it direct a link to each one of your web pages. And what you'll see is when you're training it, it's going in and it's looking at everything and it's memorizing it all, if you want to say that. Then when someone asks it a question, it knows that answer right away and it directs them appropriately. And they're asking it in natural language, it's replying in natural language, because now in the back end, you also told it what your voice is, what your brand is, how you want it to respond to people, formal or a little casual. So it's really cool. So the chatbot greets them, asks 3 or 5 qualifying questions if you want it to. You direct it. You can tell it to just stop there where it's just going to answer questions, or you can take it to the next step and connect it to a booking system if you have one, where it's actually now going to book an appointment for you with that person that the chatbot's talking to. So I'm going to show you, Tidio, a little video on it. It is very simple to use. It's, I think, $20 a month, $26 a month, and it's like having a full receptionist human there that's able to answer all the questions and book appointments for you. So, answering questions, qualifying prospects, booking appointments, sending follow-up emails. I find that very, very useful. So here's a couple of different videos for you. The tutorial, if you choose that you'd like to do this, Tidio, I have a tutorial for you here. Here I'm just going to show you a quick demo on what Tidio does, okay? And if you want to look at it yourself, it's tidio.com.
3 simple fixes that make people listen to you instantly. Your message falls flat for 3 reasons.
Welcome to the Tidio demo. If you manage a growing online business, you probably need tools to improve your sales and customer service. In this video, I'll give you a quick overview of how Tidio helps you grow your sales, manage all your customer service in one place, and automate your responses without losing customer trust. Tidio is a complete customer service platform that offers live chat, a channel where you can talk to your website visitors in real time, flows, which are automations that can help you proactively reach out to your customers and boost sales, Lyro AI, the conversational AI agent that can learn from your website and products and handle repetitive questions and tasks for you. And finally, Help Desk, a unified workspace that organizes all of your customer messages, tickets, and conversations from all channels, including chat, email, and social media. Let me show you what this looks like inside Tidio. This is the Tidio inbox, the center of where all of your support happens. On the left, you'll see conversations coming in from different channels, like your website live chat, incoming emails from your connected inbox, and here, Instagram, Facebook, and WhatsApp messages. So no matter how your customers get in contact with you, your team will see it here in a single queue with one clean view, instead of having to jump in between tools and tabs. And this just improves your customer service team's efficiency overall. Now let's look at a real live example here. A visitor opens your website and starts a live chat asking about your shipping policy, for example.
So Tidio is the company that makes it, and Lycro, Lyro, happens to be what they use as the chatbot that the public sees. So it's not two different things that you buy. It's just one through Tidio. That was a little confusing at first when they added Lyco, I think last year. So this would be your website. It won't say Tidio on it. It would be your website. And when they come to the chat, which you put the little window there and someone clicks on it, you tell it what to say up here and how to respond. And it just looks like that. Now they could also see the exact same thing when they're on your Facebook or Instagram.
The conversation appears here in the inbox, and if you click on this arrow on the right side, you'll see all of the customer's details, their name, their email, which page they're on right now, and any tags or previous.
So what that means is you can see live the calls that are happening at the time, and you can take over a call if you want, like the conversation, or it just happens when you're not even there. What I love about it is I can come back to my Tidio dashboard and I can see the questions that were asked and how Tidio answered it. And then if I realize, oh, I forgot to upload certain information, then I go back to right over here. That's the knowledge base, and I upload a different file that I didn't have from before. But I'm also able to follow up with people. I absolutely love it.
Previous conversation history. This additional context really helps your agents respond faster with more confidence.
Okay, so that kind of gives you an idea overview, but again, there's a lot more information for you to see. And on the PowerPoint here for Tidio, and I think you're going to find that really useful if this is something that you're looking to do for your final project. So that's it for automation. Thank you very much.